PICKABLE passives test in Overwatch 2 is over. Is this something we need in the game? Let's have a look. The latest quick play hack has ended. For just 2 days, we got to choose an extra role passive per role in quick play. An experiment from the Overwatch development team, in which they wanted to test if they can give us some extra agency without making it too complicated or difficult. Partly in an attempt to lessen the need for counter picks, but also to help players to lean into certain playstyles, to deal with certain comps, or to adjust the balancing based on what your rank might need. Now, as I mentioned in my previous video, the risk of such a system is that it creates a hurdle for new or very casual players, that they just can't pick up the game and play, or that all of these talents end up becoming useless because there's always one must pick. In other words, it comes down to all of the options that they will offer. Now let me address those potholes first. When it comes to adding extra hurdles, I do think they did their best to make the picking of the passives as easy and convenient possible, which not only helps for new players but also for us veterans who will be more inclined to experiment and find the right passive. The passives themselves are also quite easy to understand. You don't need a calculator to determine if they're good or not. You can draw a direct conclusion between the scenario that you're in and which passive might help you out. And I think that's also one of the main reasons that this is not going to get stale, or that there's going to be one must pick. I mean, I've seen some people make an attempt of making a tier list, trying to find the best passives for each hero, for the content. And sure, a few of those passives that are going to be successful in a lot more scenarios. But as those people were making those lists, they also noticed that there's more nuance to all of this, due to your own skill, but also the composition of your team, the enemy team, and even the map you're playing on might make a difference. There's a ton of scenarios. For instance, the more skilled tracer will benefit more from Frenzy, which gives you a speed boost after every single kill, while the more bronze tracers are probably going to opt for the extra ammo that you get with Trigger Happy, since people at that level don't always hit every single shot, and nothing is more frustrating than seeing an Ana escape with 1 HP because you have to reload. The debuff reduction on unyielding for tanks can be useful when playing Roadhog or Munga, especially if the enemy team has an Ana, unless your team is running with a Kiriko, and especially if she has the cooldown reduction on her Suzu bells. On the other hand, if you're playing Diva or Sigma, you can eat anything Ana can throw at you, so at that point you might go for the extra armor. In other words, I personally think that making a tier list is near impossible, especially if it needs to fit all the different ranks. But I do think that the current choices need some tuning. There are a few heroes that are benefiting a little too much from some of these passives, while others are in no way as effective as you would think they are, like the Slayer passive that allows you to see critical health targets through walls. At least that is my experience after just playing it for 2 days, which is not long. They could have easily done this a little longer. Sure, I've seen people complain about this quick play hack, but very few about the fact that it's blocking the normal quick play, because it's not as intrusive. If anything, I've seen more people complain about the fact that it is so short and during weekdays, because some people only play in weekends. But that proves again that Blizzard cannot win. But anyways, hopefully they got all the data that they need, because I do think with some tuning, they might find an offering of passives that is going to hit their goals and that we are going to enjoy, which is going to add that extra layer of choice and strategy. I've even seen some people suggest that they might go as far as giving single heroes different passives, much like they do in Paladins, for instance. But that really might be an issue for new and casual players. I would not go that far. For me personally, the biggest issue I have with the system is that we do not know what our teammates have picked and what the enemies have picked, but to a lesser extent, which makes it pretty hard to organize, especially if you're just in a random group. Communication is rather low in those groups. So it would be nice if there's a way that we can see that, but I think that might be a problem. I think Blizzard will not do that. See, the reason they did not add it right now is most likely because of time restraints, this just being a test. But let's say that this makes it into the game one day. I don't think they're going to let us see what the others have picked, because that would be another cause of toxic behavior. People accusing each other of trolling because you did not pick the passive they think you need to pick, because they saw a video somewhere, the tier list 2 weeks ago. I don't think Blizzard wants to add anything to that already kinda toxic mess. So I don't know how they're going to fix that. But apart from that, I'm pretty okay with all of this. And I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one. I mean, yeah, some people will downplay and hate everything that Blizzard throws at the game until they bring back 6 versus 6. But as far as I can tell, most of the people that follow me are quite intrigued by all of this. Most of you. That's how I like you guys. Now let's wait and see how Blizzard kind of feels about this whole test. What the results are going to be, the statistics, what the impact was according to their data. And hopefully we'll learn more about that in the next few weeks, because there are some big topics coming up and yeah. But seriously, out of all the quick play hack that they have done up till now, this might be the first one that we actually see evolve into something that is going to change the game forever. Which doesn't mean that any of the previous ones are never going to net any results. They most likely will, but it might not be as impactful as this one. For now, however, that was it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And a huge thank you to my patrons. I could not make these videos without you. You have my eternal gratitude. If you have a few minutes left, check out this video. Click it. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye bye.